2 days of racing at the Farleigh Castle. The South African team is trying to attain a podium position. They've competed in this event a number of times, well supported by Gavin Williams from Global ASP. He brings all these bikes over to the UK to compete in this prestigious event. The big question is, could they oust the Americans, the British, the Australians and the Belgians as racing gets underway? British-based South African Neville Bradshaw has qualified second on the grid in the 500 Evo class. Ryan Hunt has qualified 9th. The pressure's on the riders. Let's catch up with Ryan and some more of his thoughts.
Yeah, came to Britain in the 89, raced the Grand Prix and British Championships for a few years, and found myself back at Farleigh at a fun event. It's quite nice to see the old friends and faces. So after my stint over here, I did a year in South Africa, had a bad accident, and sort of retired. I thought it was a retirement then, but 2 years later I was put my leg over a bike again, and sort of the bug bit, and did some riding for fun, and then ended up racing for another 10 years. It's the adrenaline, it's the sport, it's the characters and friends you've made as long as I can ride at whatever level it is, I still want to do it. But last year was a first full season in 15 years, and it was really fun, to know that you've got to get in the truck and get down to the race and get back in the scene and do some training. And this event's pretty much my focus of the year. It's the whole atmosphere that comes with it, the crowd, the people to see, the old friends that you meet, the old riders that, well, calling them old, I'm old. The guys you used to race with back in the day, and I think it's just the whole atmosphere and how everyone just comes together. It's great camaraderie. Well, if there's a checkered flag at the end, you still want to be in the front, So the racing is pretty much the same, It's might be a few seconds a lap slower, but it's still racing. But it's a lottery, it's old bikes, it's old riders, it might stall on the line, you might stall it in the mud, who knows? It's just got to be, get to the end. I think this is my 4th year here now. The history that comes with it is amazing, all the old Grand Prix, and it's a whole package, and to know that it hasn't really changed that much over the years is also you're not racing something different, you're racing what the legends rode. 500 you've got to have respect for, that rides you don't ride it. You just got to tamely take it around, guide it around the track, and have a bit of respect.
I started when I was about 6. Got my first bike because I threw a tantrum at a show. My dad had to slap me off the bike, and he ended up buying me a little bike, and that's basically where the thing started. I started doing flat track racing for probably about 4 or 5 years. Ended up doing motocross, raced in South Africa up to 97, 98. Came over, did the British qualifiers, and then I've moved back to South Africa and got a workshop out there. So the racing is kind of like, this is the first race I've done since last year. I'm a bit rusty. Last year was pretty good. I was on a 250. This year I'm on this CR 500, which is a bit of a different animal. I've never ridden one. I'm struggling to get it started. I like more sand tracks, so the clay and hard pack's not really my kind of track. But I like the roughness of it. I think it does break it up a little bit. It's a Marmite track, it's love and hate. I think some sections nice, some sections really bad. And I came as a spectator for like two years in a row. And then last year the offer came up, and you know, I got a deal going to get an old bike and to actually do it, and then it was a buzz. And then this year it's gone a lot more serious, and 6 weeks before Farleigh, I've only actually started training. So I might have left it a little bit late. I got all the butterflies going, and I haven't had, you know, like, you learn to process that, and I think I couldn't. I was so tense. I was saying to the guys, my stomach feels like turning, and you know, you just don't. You're not used to it anymore. If you do it all the time, you know how to work it, and you get on with it. Where I think that kind of stiffened me up as well. South Africa used to be really good back in the day. We had good riders like Albertine and Herring that came over, Paul Cooper, Colin Dugmore, Langston, Rattray. We've had good riders, and we've kind of like, I don't know what's happened. We kind of like dropped off the map a little bit. I think by doing this, it just creates awareness again that South Africa is still alive with motocross. You know, there's something is still happening. So I know Gavin, our team manager, wants the he wants the trophy, but it's not that easy. Especially against the Yanks. Yeah. I think for the right rider, the CR 500 would be good. I think I'm more a 250 rider. So I'm struggling with the 500. I think the older bikes, it probably does suit the older bikes better because there's not a lot of jumps. There's maybe 1 or 2 big jumps, and that's it.
First time being, and obviously heard, you know, like a lot about Farleigh Castle and the Veterans Destinations, and just always wanted to come, and just pumped that it managed to work out this year with the boys coming from South Africa, and then Colin Dugmore ended up getting injured, and the boys asked me if I could jump in his place, and yeah, glad I took the opportunity for it. It's unreal. Like, it just reminds me of, like, you know, the Destinations or the GPs back in the day when you drive in and it's just like miles worth of campers, you know. And then I came in late last night, like maybe like 9 o'clock, and there was like loads of fires going on, and everyone around their fires, like, it's just old school, you know. You go to the beer tent, there is a beer tent first of all, which is really cool, like the old school racing. Everyone, there's a couple of riders having a beer, all the fans get to interact with the riders, which is how it used to be, you know. It just blows my mind. Like, I look at the sheet, and yeah, like those guys, probably like the 15 guys behind me growing up, like that's all you do was watch videos of those guys, you know. So it's kind of surreal. Like, you just think like, wow, like you go in front of like John Dowd or Mark Brown or Kurt Nichol, you know. It's kind of like mind blowing, but not professional anymore. The speed's still there, but you know, it's very different now, you know. Like, I just jump on any bike. Like, things don't have to be perfect. I don't have to have suspension set up. Like, every week I just ride a different bike and I do the best I can on that bike. And I go away from the race, knowing that that's my job done, you know. Like, I don't stress about it. I don't think I need to go testing. I don't complain about anything. What I get given is what I ride. Same as when you're growing up, you're just riding bikes. That's all it is. It's riding motorbikes with your mates on a weekend. Obviously, you want to win, but it's not the end of the world if you do or you don't, you know. I still train pretty hard physically, which has made the racing a little bit easier. But yeah, no, definitely not full time with it. As much as I try to step away from it all the time, I just end up coming back to it.
More from Farleigh Castle right after this.